Today we're diving into the multiplication rule for probability, a powerful tool that helps us calculate the probability of two or more events occurring either together or in sequence. The key to using this rule is determining whether the events are dependent or independent. Let's break it down, see when to use it, and work through a few clear examples. Dependent events are events where the outcome of one event affects the outcome of the other, while independent events are events where the outcome of one event does not influence the outcome of the other. Let's first look at two examples where events A and B are dependent on each other. Ben is on his way to work. The probability that it rains on any given morning is 0.3. If it rains, the probability that Ben is late for work is 0.6. What is the probability that it rains and Ben is late for work? We can let event A be it rains, and event B, Ben is late. Based on the context, it's clear that Ben being late for work is influenced by the rain. Hence, event B is dependent on event A. We are asked to find the probability that the two events both happen. So we apply the multiplication rule of probability, which states the probability of A and B happening is equal to the probability of A times the probability of B, given that event A already occurred. The probability of A, which is the probability that it rains, is 0.3. The probability of B given A, which is the probability that Ben is late given that it rains, is 0.6. Hence, the probability that Ben is late and it rains is 0.18 or 18%. Here is another example of dependent events. A jar contains 5 red sweets, 3 green sweets, and 2 blue sweets. Maria picks 2 sweets at random, one after the other, without replacement. What is the probability of picking a green sweet followed by a blue sweet? Let's define the two events. Let event A be the first sweet picked is green, and let B be the event that the second sweet picked is blue. There are 10 sweets in the jar when picking the first sweet. Since it wasn't replaced, there are now 9 sweets when the second sweet is picked, which means that the outcome of event B is affected by the outcome of event A. Hence, A and B are dependent events. To find the probability of both events happening, that is, picking a green sweet and then a blue sweet, we'll use the multiplication rule of probability shown here. Let's calculate the probability of picking a green sweet on the first try. There are 3 green sweets out of a total of 10, so the probability of A is 3/10. Now, assuming the first sweet was green and we didn't put it back, there are only 9 sweets left, and still 2 blue sweets. So the probability of picking a blue sweet, given that the first pick was green, is 2/9. Multiply, and we get the probability of picking a green and then a blue sweet, which is 6/90, or 1/15 when simplified. Now let's look at a few problems where the events are independent, meaning the outcome of one event does not affect the outcome of the other. If we take the most recent example and change the situation to with replacement, meaning the first sweet was put back into the jar before the second sweet was drawn, this would now mean events A and B are independent, since regardless of the outcome of the first pick, the outcome of the second pick is not affected, since we will still have the same 10 sweets in the jar. To find the probability of both events happening, that is, picking a green sweet and then a blue sweet, we'll use the multiplication rule of probability shown here. The probability of A, which represents the probability that the first pick was a green sweet, is 3/10. Now the first sweet is put back into the jar. So the probability of B, which is the probability of picking a blue sweet, on the second draw is 2/10, since there are still 10 sweets in the jar. Multiply, and we get the probability of picking a green and then a blue sweet with replacement, which is 6/100, or 6%. By the way, note that the probability of B, given that A happened, is the same as just the probability of B, since whatever the outcome of event A was, event B is not affected in these independent cases. Let's look at another experiment where the events are independent. For example, a coin is flipped and a die tossed together. What is the probability that the coin shows head and the die shows 3? Let's call heads A and call 3 B. What the coin shows has nothing to do with the value shown on the die. Hence, the events are independent. So we use the multiplication law, which states that if events A and B are independent, then the probability of A and B is equal to the probability of A times the probability of B. The probability A, which is same as probability the coin showing heads, is a half, while the probability of B, which is the same as the die showing a 3, is 1/6. So the probability of the intersection, or the probability of getting both events together, is 1/2 times 1/6, which is 1/12. Alternately, we can use a table to visually represent the experiment. At the top of the columns, we have the possible outcomes on the dice, the numbers 1 to 6. To lead the rows, we have the possible outcomes of the coin toss, that's head or tail. We compare head to all the dice outcomes, and then do the same with tail. This will give us all the possible combinations in the experiment. Notice there's a total of 12 possible combinations. Only one has head and 3 occurring together. So the probability of head and 3 showing together is 1/12. So we get the same answer that the formula gave us. The multiplication and addition rules of probability can also be combined to solve problems. For example, what's the probability of getting a sum of 11 when 2 dice are tossed? There are only 2 possible ways to get a sum of 11. Either die 1 shows a 5 and die 2 shows a 6, or die 1 shows 6 and die 2 shows 5. So the probability that the sum is 11 is the probability of the dice showing 5 and 6, or the probability of the dice showing 6 and 5. The probability that a die shows 5, or any number, is 1/6. As explained in the rules, replace and with multiplication, and replace or with addition. So the probability of 5 and 6 is 1/6 times 1/6. We also do the exact same with 6 and 5. So the probability that the sum is 11 is 1/18. Alternately, we could do a visual representation by creating a table showing the sample space, which is the set of all possible combinations on the 2 dice. Notice that there is a total of 6 times 6, that's 36 possible combinations, with only 2 combinations having a sum of 11. That's 2 out of 36, which is 1/18. Join us in the next video, when we will be covering conditional probability and tree diagrams. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your fellow math lovers. See you soon.